To Malawi now, and voting has begun there in an election in which 11 candidates are seeking to unseat President Joyce Banda, Southern Africa's first female head of state who came to power 2 years ago. In her first months in office, Banda enjoyed huge goodwill among the landlocked nation's 13 million people who despised her predecessor Bingu and Mutharika's autocratic style. More recently, her reputation for probity has been hit by a $15 million corruption scandal dubbed Cashgate after the discovery of large amounts of money in the car of a senior government official. The scandal has soured government relations with donors. Banda faces stiff challenge from Mutharika's younger brother Peter, who is running as the head of the Democratic Progressive Party, and Lazarus Chakwera, a conservative evangelical pastor who retired from the church last year to take the helm of Malawi Congress Party. Atupele Muluzi, a son of former President Bakili Muluzi, is also in the race. Right, Karoyola has been keeping a close eye on these elections. She joins us now live from Malawi's former capital of Zomba, where the incumbent President Joyce Banda cast her vote earlier. Karo, how's the voting coming along, and what's the turnout like?
Well, Penina, it has been a huge turnout from the polling centers that we've visited the past few hours. We've seen crowds and large queues or long queues of people lining up to vote. Now, we must mention that voting delayed. It was expected to start at 6 a.m. It did start at 6 a.m. in some polling stations around the country, but in most polling stations, we've seen a delayed start in voting due to perhaps a delayed sending of ballot boxes and voting materials to these polling centers. But generally, we've seen huge numbers of Malawians coming out to vote in this year's election.
And Carol, we understand that there have been some delays, like you mentioned, in some of those polling stations, and this has provoked anger among some voters. What do you know about this?
Well, what we've understood is that the polling stations, like I said, we visited where there were delays. We realized that there were no voting materials present in those ballot stations. Now, yesterday, the Malawi Electoral Commission said that they were prepared and they had distributed all the voting materials around the polling stations across the country. Now, what we've seen is that there's been a lack of perhaps the ballot boxes losing seals, or voting materials that were not in, or incorrect ballot papers. Now, unfortunately, in some parts of Blantyre, as we've just received news from, is that there has been sort of mild violence where some voters have come out and blocked roads and throwing stones in protest of these delayed votes. So we're yet to see if the voting will continue as scheduled. It is expected to end at 6 p.m. But the way things are going, we do expect to see that this day may actually push on. Perhaps voting may continue even to tomorrow.
And Carol, are there any indications as to when the first results will be out?
Well, as we know, according to the Constitution and according to the calendar, the electoral calendar, sorry if I just correct myself there, the electoral calendar says that results should come out by the 24th. Now, that should be Saturday. But the way we've seen the delays going in, we're not too sure. We might see provisional results of some polling stations coming in perhaps later on tonight. We may see some provisional results tomorrow. So right now we cannot confirm when we will have official results. It's yet to see. We've seen delays, as I mentioned. So we'll just wait and see what the Electoral Commission has to say.
All right, Carol, you're live for us there in Zomba, Malawi.